Hello friends! So today I'm doing something a little different and I'm doing a product review. Well, it's a product review plus part 3 of rebranding. No, part 4 of rebranding, where I am making wax melts finally because I launched with only candles for the new collection. So I'm gonna finally be making wax melts with this new melter. ToAuto was kind enough to send this to me to test out and give a little review on, so I'm excited. I didn't know that a pink existed, but I got the green, so let's unpack this little green guy. I'm really surprised I opted to use scissors for this because normally I just try to tear it open with my hands and break a nail. So cute. Instructions. I'm hoping, I think it will, but I'm hoping to put this like right next to the other one. And I think they'll both fit on there, hopefully. And I think I'm only gonna use this for wax melts because the wax melts I'm using a different kind of wax, so I don't really want to mix them. Or, I don't know. Maybe it doesn't matter, but I'd prefer not to, so. Okay. Honestly, part of me, like, from the second I got this, the part of me was wondering if I wanted to get another one because, as you know, or talked about, especially with the new candles, I'm just making like 2 candles at once. This one, I mean, I could probably make like 12 with it or something, but I've only been using it for 6 because I never really make more than 6 at a time. But now I'm like, I don't even need to make that many. So this is a very good size. I don't know, like for wax melts, I'm gonna make them even like more sparingly than candles. So I'm not actually sure how much I'm gonna put in here at one time, but I feel like it's not gonna be a lot, which is why I wanted one of the smaller sizes. So has a little bag of things. I'll find out what that's for. You do have to add the spout, so screws into the front, I believe. Is this what the wrench is for? No. Maybe I would help myself by actually reading the instructions. Not that complicated, but I do want to have this like fully tightened, aligned properly, so I'm gonna try one more time. Spout is on, and I guess that was all there was to do. And it has a little lid that you can see through, which is nice. I guess let's plug it in and see what happens. Okay, I lied. Before we plug it in, I need to clean really, really badly. Hey, if only it were actually that easy. Okay, upon further reflection, I was wrong before. So, if I had just looked at everything before I started going ahead, which I do have a problem with, I would have noticed that there was this washer. I'm pretty sure this is a washer. But it goes on to here. The first time I tried it, it wasn't that, like, it didn't go on that easily, so I had to use the wrench to twist it on here. But once I did that once, apparently now it's really easy. So now that you have the washer on, then it can go. So I positioned it where the faucet is in the way I want it to be, and then now I can tighten the washer. I think it helps to hold the faucet in the position you want it to be because it'll kind of turn with the washer. But now it's all secured on there, and feels very tight, like it's not going anywhere. So now that it's assembled properly and the room is cleaner, now we can plug it in and see how it works. Okay, so like I said, my plan is to have them both on here. Might fit, might not fit. Can I reach the outlet is the question. Oh my gosh, hold on. Oh, it's just because I'm stupid and I was trying to put it in upside down. That's why it didn't fit. Crisis averted. I'm wondering if I want to have a different configuration for this. Because they fit, but it's very snugly. Maybe if I just move this over a little. Okay. I think that'll be fine. Okay, I lied. I switched them because the faucet on this one is like more to the left. So it was like harder to get this like directly underneath it, but if I have it on this side, then it can go right underneath it, no problem. So okay, so many moons ago, under one of the many times that I cleaned the office, I had 3 or 4 slabs of the wax that I use for wax melts, and they're really big, so I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna cut all of it now, because before I was cutting it just as I had it, as I had to make things. But now I'm happy that it's pre-cut. So hopefully I can get, I'm gonna be honest, I don't know what I want to do. I don't know if I want to put in the amount of wax in there that I'm going to specifically need to make the amount of wax melts that I want to make, or if I want to just put in a larger amount and melt it all and not necessarily use it all right now. Maybe that's fine. I don't know. With the other one, I've only been putting in the amount that I want to use at the time, because I don't want to keep like re-melting the wax if I have more than I need in there. I've heard that's not like the best thing to do, to keep like reheating and solidifying and everything like the wax before you add fragrance to it and everything, but I feel like the wax melts are different. Like wax melts are less temperamental than like container wax, because you need it to work properly through the wick, but since there's no wick here, I feel like it might be okay. And I'm the most indecisive person in the world, so I don't know. I need to sit on it, I guess. I also don't know if I want to make 1 or 2. I guess 2. I should probably do 2. 2 wax melts per scent. I should probably do that. We'll return once I've made a decision. Just for this session right now, if I make 2 wax melts for each of the signature scents, I will need 16. And then I will need 40 ounces, and that's an okay place to start, I think. Maybe I'll just put 40 ounces in for now, see what happens. I think that's, God, I don't know how to make decisions. I think that's what I'm gonna do. Okay, I need like a small piece now. I think I need to actually cut this one. Ah! That will go in the melter. I'm gonna be honest, it's been a minute since I've made wax melts, so I need to look at what temperature this wax needs to get melted to, because I'm pretty sure it's the same, but I honestly don't remember. Okay, yes, the parameters are pretty much the same temperature-wise for this wax as my 464, so I'm just gonna put this in. Oh no, oh no, Samantha. Okay, I think this is the only one that fell out. Off to a great start here. I must make sure that this is in the off position, because we don't want wax just running everywhere. And I will turn this to 185. Oh. The on switch is in the back. Note that. Because for a second I was like, oh, I just need to turn the dial. It doesn't have a dial and an on switch like this one, but it does. The on switch is just in the back. So I'm going to let that melt and I'll put on the little lid. And now I will get together my fragrance oil. So even though I checked, or I felt like I checked the inventory before I made the site live, I was apparently still making mistakes and I oversold a product that I don't have any more of, so I need to make a wax melt for that. So I'm just gonna pull up the formula. It always feels weird making wax melts for just one wax melt because it's so little fragrance oil. Okay, I got my fragrance oil ready for my one wax melt, and yep, it's getting melty in there. Okay, I'm gonna put my thermometer in so I can keep an eye on it. Okay, and I think I mentioned this when I reviewed this one, but the temperature when it comes out of here, and if you put it into a cold pouring pitcher, like the temperature changes really drastically. So I like to put my pitcher on a hot plate so that the pitcher itself gets warm, and then the temperature doesn't shift as drastically when it actually gets poured into here. Okay, it's almost there. All of the wax is melted and it's almost to the right temperature. I like taking notes on this. So honestly, I should have timed how long it took it to get to the temperature, because that's what I did when I reviewed this one, but I will do that next time when I remelt it. Okay, so I want to get it to 190 and then pour it. So then by the time it gets in here, it'll probably cool down to about 180, which is when I can add the fragrance oil. I'm wondering if I just want to already have the oil in here. I might do that. I've never done that before, but I think I'm gonna just already have it in here, so. I don't need a ton of wax, so I'm just gonna let it have a slow stream. I got it to exactly the size amount that I wanted it to be. Okay, 1 scent done. To move on to the next one. Okay, so I actually had some calculations that I needed to do because what? Because on my spreadsheet I only had the amounts for 1 wax melt and 3 wax melts, but I want to have one that has the calculations for only 2 wax melts because I think that's what I'm gonna do. But then I have to change some things, but also I just can't do multiple things at once. It's not a thing that I can do. I'm generally pretty nervous, like having wax do its own thing in the background while I'm doing something else. But I've checked on it a few times and it feels like it's actually staying pretty stable, which I appreciate. I'm gonna check on it again because anxiety. But yeah, it's staying right in the range of where I want it to be. Which is good, and I feel like it's a little bit better at doing that, maybe because of the small size, than the other one, because the other one I feel like it fluctuated more, like it would suddenly get a little higher because, you know, it wants to be like right in the middle zone, so sometimes it would turn off and let it get lower, and then it would turn on, but then it would get too high, and then it would turn off and have to go back down. So this one I feel like is doing a better job than the bigger one for me, staying at a place where I feel okay just letting it sit there and not feeling like the wax is gonna get too hot. They have the same range. Both sizes have the same temperature range on the dial. But yeah, I feel like this one is just a little better at staying stable. So maybe I can calm down and be okay with just letting it sit there and not like worrying that the wax is gonna get too hot. Because with the bigger one, I feel like there were some times where I was scared that it was gonna get too hot if I stopped paying attention. Just calm down, Samantha. I say that, but I don't think I'll actually ever calm down because I feel like I'm really off schedule right now. I'm just gonna finish doing this and focus on it so I can finish this as quickly as possible and then jump back into all that. Second pour time, and I'm scared. This time I'm gonna try not having the fragrance oil in here first because I just want to see what temperature it actually is when it pours. Right now the thermometer I have in here reads 200. So I just need 5 ounces. So that is 5 ounces. I feel like I'm like conflicted because while this is trying to get to the reading, I know that it's also cooling down. I also don't know that I trust this thermometer because I really prefer these Taylor candy thermometers. Okay, I abandoned that idea because I felt like it was taking too long for it to read, point where it's just literally cooling down. So I have it on the hot plate to try to get it back up. I do feel like so far my first impressions are that I like this size and this one more than the larger size, just because I work on such a small scale. Like, I know other candle companies make like way more candles at once and this probably works a lot better for them, but since I'm only making a couple candles at a time, I feel like this size is like the right one for me. So I might actually get a second one and use that instead. But yeah, I'm like generally I'm so specific about temperatures that it's always gonna be hard for me personally to do something like this rather than the double boiler method, because I don't know, I'm so used to double boiler that I feel like I have more control, but it's just so time consuming. It's like there's just so many more steps I don't want to deal with. So like I'd rather get used to something like this and just create my own system for it. But I feel like it probably is always going to be, because I did it with this one, since I really want to have full control over the temperature, that I'm gonna heat up the pots before I pour the wax. That is the right temperature, so I'm gonna take that off. But yeah, I feel like for me, since I'm so specific, I'm probably always gonna heat up the pot first, and then when it's a smaller amount of wax, maybe when I'm working with the amount of wax that I need for candles, because wax melts is like way less, and when you're working with more wax, it obviously doesn't cool down as fast. So maybe when I'm working with candles, I won't feel like so frantic with worrying about the temperature changing. But at least with this, I think I'm always gonna let it melt and then put it back on the hot plate to get it right to the temperature I want it to be. Because letting it, like, having the temperature up here of what it is when it's melted and then not knowing what it is when it gets in here, it drives me crazy. So this, I think, is the closest method that I'm gonna have to feeling comfortable. But I feel like maybe other people aren't as crazy about specific temperatures as I am, so I have trust issues, if you can't tell. But yeah, this one pours at 160, so I'm just letting it, now that I've mixed the fragrance oil, I'm letting it cool down to 160, which should happen any second now, and then I'll pour it. So I think this is gonna be a multiple day process. I can't make wax melts as fast as I make candles because I use my own molds that I made, and right now I only have 5 of them. So the time it takes for them to like cool down and solidify is a while, so I can't get them all done today for sure. I've been thinking of making more of these so I can get more done at once, but I just haven't committed to doing that yet. Yeah, so I think that's where I'm gonna stop today, I will turn off the wax melter so that wax will solidify, and I'll probably be able to make 2 batches tomorrow. Well, we'll see, because I have a DMV appointment tomorrow that I'm absolutely dreading. So yeah, we'll see how much I get done then. But there's not really a rush on these, so it's fine. But yeah, gonna turn that off for today. But I think that was a good first day. So I'm really grumpy because you'll never guess, the printer and printing. I'm trying to print out the wax melt labels. The software for like the company that I got the labels from doesn't let you do anything less than an entire page, and I just know that that is wasting labels for me. So I'm trying to figure out a way to select certain labels to not have them all be the same one, but of course it's very difficult to do and have everything aligned, so that's what I'm trying to work on, and I'm getting very frustrated by it, and hopefully I can figure it out in like the next hour or so. Okay, I think I just need to accept that printing is always gonna be cursed. Downloaded like the template knowing that it probably was not gonna be accurate and like aligned, and surprise, it wasn't. As you can see, it like is just like a big gap at the bottom. I think I'm just gonna trim these so like they're a little bit more, really can't talk today, so that they're more symmetrical. I tweaked it like a little bit and I'm printing out another one, so we'll see. I just don't understand like how this continuously is a thing forever. And I know that like part of it is that like you can't control how the printer like takes up the paper, because if it's just like a little bit off of like picking it up, then obviously it's not gonna be lined. So I don't know. It's always gonna bother me, but like I don't think I can afford to have them professionally printed. So I'm just gonna have to work with what I have for now and hope that this one turns out better, but my hopes are not high. Yeah, not better. So I'm gonna trim these even though I don't want to. Okay, so I've still only made Ginger's Bakery, so that's what these two are. So I'm going to label those. The side, the front, stunning. The side, stunning. The back, gorgeous. I'm finally gonna make more wax melts. So I'm gonna turn this back on and get this whole setup going, and then make 4 wax melts all at once. I also need to make some candles, and I know that I should just do that now. I know that I should. I know that I should. To be determined. Let these, like the alcohol evaporate more, and then I will wick these. Does anyone else keep getting spam calls? Like, usually Google does a pretty good job of like filtering them out, but I feel like I just keep getting them right now. finished all of the wax melts. There's a couple scents I haven't done yet, but I'm waiting on fragrance oils. But I'm excited with how they've turned out. I think they're cute, so I need to figure out when I'm gonna launch these, but I'm glad that they exist now. So I've been using the melter for like a week now. I wanted to make sure that I used it for a good amount of time before I like kind of wrapped up my thoughts on it. Yeah, overall, really enjoy it. Like I said, I might get a second one. I'm not sure yet. I'll have to see how sales go, I think. But things that I've noted were, since I didn't have a lot of experience with melting things down and then like not using all of the wax and then keeping it in there, I realized that I had just like turned it all the way up to 185 to get it to melt again. I don't think, at least with this wax and everything, I don't think I can do that. It definitely got too hot at the bottom, but I think like that wouldn't happen if it was like a fresh thing of wax. I think it was just because it was like a solid chunk that's just like sitting in there. So when I've been doing that, I've only been putting it up to like 125 or something just so it melts, but it doesn't get too hot. And then once everything's at a melted point, then I'll turn it up to like more of the actual temperature that I want it to be, which doesn't bother me. I think, like I said before, I just have trust issues. So I don't think I'm ever gonna use these in the sense of like, I've turned the dial to 185. I'm not gonna question that the wax is 185 and I'm just gonna pour it in the pot and add the fragrance oil. Like, I'm never gonna be comfortable with that no matter what. So yeah, I kinda am mostly just using it to like get the wax melted and then close enough to the temperature I want it to be. I've been heating it up a little bit hotter than fragrance adding temperature. And then yeah, I just get it in here with the preheated pot, put this back on the hot plate for just like a couple seconds. Like, doesn't need a lot of time on there to like get back up to the temperature I want it to be. But when I'm working with such little wax in here, because it's like I'm just not using a lot, it cools down really fast. So it wouldn't cool down as fast if I was using more. I'm happy with this. I'm happy that I don't have to fill up the giant thing of water to sous vide the wax anymore. So yeah, I think I have a good setup here. I think I'm gonna get a few more thermometers so that I can have one and just like sitting in each of these so I can keep track of the temperature in there, and then have ones in here so I can keep track of the temperature in here, because right now I was just like taking it out of here to put it in here and it was just that's on me. I just need to have more thermometers. It's weird because the process is so much faster this way that like I need to learn how to be faster, because the other way was so much slower that I had like, yeah, I didn't have the option of having to like think fast. So it'll be interesting having to think faster and work faster, which like before I didn't have the option to do, so yeah, I can work faster. But yeah, I think that these are really handy. I think because of my trust issues, I'm like really happy that there are melters that are like literally just made for wax that are like, these are way more affordable than like a digiboil, because I was like, I'm never gonna get to the point where I can have a digiboil. Like, I don't think I'm ever gonna sell enough where I can just like justify having that, and that was kind of like the only tier that I could find that there was that was like specifically for candles. So I'm excited that ToAuto is making things that are just for candles now. I'll talk more about them as I continue filming over time and you know, everything, but initial reaction is that it's very useful. So thank you ToAuto for sending me this little friend that will make my life a lot easier. Yeah, so I have some maybe exciting updates in the next video, so I need to get my mind together to start working on talking about what that is. So thank you for joining me for part 4 of rebranding. That might be like, no, that's not the last part, but maybe it'll technically be the last part of like this series, but there's still a lot of rebranding stuff that needs to get done. But yeah, thank you for watching and I'll see you next time.